just want to talk about that place of love. Is I had this profound awareness. Now, maybe that I knew it somewhere inside of me, but I had this profound awareness that I had heard someone say one time, and they said, in any situation, especially when we have situations where there's conflict, that's the harder, or disagreements, or not a rapporting feeling.
I think I know where you're going with this, because I've used this myself, because I've been in some situations where I've been with people that had resentments towards me and things like that. And, whenever I've come into something, when I know I'm going to be put in a situation that might be uncomfortable, as long as I bring that love, as long as I act, I never have any regrets.
And that love it's not this manufactured love of the mind. It's an essence. It's a being. It's a relaxation into life. It's a trusting into the power of who we are. And
we're more comfortable that way,
yes.
in social situations and stuff like that. It's a place of real comfort that you can just sit in, you can stand tall and just be in this place. And yeah, you're absolutely right about the mind thing. And, and a lot of people have a lot of trouble grasping this. I mean, I was at Starbucks the other day, and, we were talking about, are you guys like Tony Robbins? And I was like, Tony Robbins, he's got some really good stuff. It's a little bit heady for me, but I use some really good stuff. And he said, well, what do you mean heady? And I said, it's a little bit when you have to think it so much, when you have to, that's just seems like a more difficult, a little bit more manufactured kind of way. Now, I admire Tony Robbins, and and I both bought his tapes when
they first came out on the infomercials. It was kind of interesting getting to know each other and finding all our common pieces that were moving together in parallel. And that was one of them, is that him and I have been seekers on the path, have been journeying the same way.
But anyway, he was like really having a hard time wrapping his head around that it's not all in the mind. That it's actually, when you can embody it, it just becomes part of who you are. He says, well, that you got to think it, and you got to cause habits, and you got to do this, and you got to do that. I'm like, no. I mean, yes and no. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that you can just start to relax into.
Well, it's funny because I just brought this up the other day when I was having breakfast with the boys. My two boys, is my one boy, he said something to me, and his face did not look very nice and welcoming and very loving. He's like, well, I didn't mean it that way. And I said to him, well, your face told exactly how you meant it. Because when my one son, who's a SAG actor, would go to this coach, to learn how to do his lines, what she would say to him is, don't worry about what your face is expressing. Have the feeling, and your face will take on that, embody that feeling. And so then that's what I said to my one son, is like, if you can be in that good place, you don't have to worry about what your face is showing, because it'll naturally display what's going on the inside. But I want to get back to this thing about love, and that when you said where I was going, it's this fact that
yes, let's get back to love.
Oh, here we are. See, before we had our show on video, this was all the behind the scenes touching that I would get from my man. But anyway, okay, so you go into a room, and there could be conflict, there could be disagreement, there could be like this lack of rapport. And this is the thing that really changed it for me, and understood this commanding place of power that we all hold, and the power of that place of love. Someone had said something about, when you know that you're the person, there will always be one person who's more capable, who has that understanding, who has that expression to be the bringer of love. And when you know you can be that bringer of it, out of whatever that situation is, then it is your responsibility to be it. And so I own that. It is my responsibility to be the bringer of love in any situation. Now, that's also bringing the best of who I am. It's like not showing up, halfway. It's not showing up and deciding that, they're only going to give half of themselves, so I'm only going to show up and give half of myself, even whether it's on an emotional level, spiritual level, a forgiving level even. Yeah. If they only show up in a way that they can only bring peace or forgiveness partially, and then you show up to only rapport back that way,
Yeah.
the situation loses. You win when you're the bringer of the higher vibration.